Let's crack one of these open. Did you want one? I brought you one.
For sure.
This podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we got Drink Caffeine. This is the official, non-official sponsor. We got no added sugars, low calories, and
It's fire.
real watermelon juice, real pineapple juice, or brewed black tea. Cheers, brother.
Hey, cheers. No, I really fuck with the ingredients that you put in here, man, like L-theanine and just being all organic and marshmallow root powder, like stuff that really makes you feel good instead of what you get in another energy drink.
Most definitely, yeah.
Like
and it's 50 milligrams of caffeine, available right here at drinkcaffeine.com. Or if you can even, we sell singles too. So like people are kind of scared of spending $16 on a 4-pack. They could definitely go get a single drink for $4 shipped to you guys. And yeah, you don't take such a big risk and it goes a long way. And if you're unable to do that, if you don't have the funds, definitely go to Drink Caffeine on Instagram or TikTok. Give us a follow. Also, you got a brand that we definitely want to get into and talk about that. Can you give us a little rundown where they could go find that?
For sure. Health is wealth. I mean, same thing while you're doing your brand. It's just like trying to help encourage people, like take care of yourself. So you can do what you want to do right now. And that's the same, idea behind the brand I'm making. It's called AOS It's a shoe I invented, I patented, created it with the help of my business partner. Everything from the branding to manufacturing, just running down to Mexico, going to factories and trying to convince them to make our product.
Do you have like a commercial for this?
Yeah, I have like a little animated ad.
I'll put that over right now.
AOS Therapy slides relieve pain by targeting an important but often overlooked part of the foot. Doctors recommend using a tennis ball to massage the sole of the foot, improving flexibility, circulation, and optimizing performance. AOS help you to complete this proactive therapy while remaining mobile, making it as easy as possible to get that feel-good stretch you need. Start with your soles. Start with AOS.
We'll get into that. I kind of want to go back to kind of like the beginning.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Joplin, Missouri.
Oh, shit, okay.
Born and raised till I was about 22, and then I just packed up, drove straight out here without telling anybody. It's the best thing I ever
How did you get into skateboarding? Can you give us like a rundown of like how you grew up?
Well, my dad grew up in California, and he was a surfer, and he ghetto rigged some skateboards out of roller skates when he was a kid, bombed some hills, and then so I grew up my whole life with like a little banana board in my house, but so I would step on it every once in a while, but I had no idea what skateboarding was until my sister, she got a skateboard for Christmas one year, and she got some skateboard posters, and then the Tony Hawk video game came out, and that was my first time seeing like street skateboarding, like real footage, because in Joplin there was a good little skate scene, but not in my eyes. I had no idea. So as soon as I discovered that, it was just kind of like a new little free skate park got built in my town. So I went there every day, addicted, like 10 hours a day, every day, pretty much.
How old were you when you got your banana board?
Well, the banana board was always around, but I didn't really think of it much, it was just another toy to me. But I think I bought my sister's skateboard for like $10 whenever I was about 11 or 12. And then that's kind of whenever I discovered what skateboarding was.
Was there any skateboard shops or anything in Joplin?
Yeah, there was a sick skate park by my friend Scott Walters, and Nathan Bemo actually originally built it, and then he built American Ramp Company, which is a huge skate park manufacturer, like global, out of my hometown. So we didn't have very much for street spots, but we had some really good skate parks built by those guys. And another guy, Judd Heald, was a pro skater that moved to my town, and he helped me start traveling and making a little bit of money skating. And then
that's crazy. So around this time, you're around 6th grade, 7th grade, when you finally figured out what skateboarding really is?
It was like 6th grade was really it, because like the summer after 5th grade, I remember I got to order a board for my birthday or something.
Was it CCS?
Actually, yeah, I think it was, but I can't really remember. It was definitely like a mail order. I think it was CCS.
When was the first time you actually like, holy shit, I love skateboarding? Was it from the Tony Hawk when you unlocked the skateboard street skating?
I played the game, and then the rewards in that game were like complete a level, and then you get to watch the video. And the video is what blew my mind. So I would just watch it over and over and be like, how the hell are these guys doing this? And then my sister had these posters in my room, in her room, which I loved, and then they eventually made it to my room. And
so your sister is full-blown skateboarder?
She just rolled around but no, not like I did. That's why she sold me her board.
Yeah, that's
but
crazy.
She kind of discovered it before me, and then I got to tag along a little bit.
Do you remember what character did you play?
Dude, Bob Burnquist was my favorite.
Really?
Yeah, and Costas.
Really?
Yeah,
What?
I don't
But
know
you had
why.
no idea why.
I think because he had his special trick was 1 foot back Smith, and I didn't know what any tricks were, but I was like, 1 foot, how the hell you do that? I don't
Dude,
know.
Kareem Campbell was my favorite. And City
He's
Stars.
a G,
Remember
dude.
those?
Such a G, yeah.
So then, okay, so you get your first skateboard, and then you're going to the skate park.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much lived at the skate park. I pretty much learned everything from there. Because before that, I don't know, I felt pretty isolated. But the skate park is where I made all my friends, and that instantly became my identity. I don't think I really had one before that. Besides, I liked playing with Legos.
Yeah.
I liked Pokemon too.
Yeah, I love Pokemon.
Me too.
Was there a crew that you met up with?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would go to the free park because that was just the easiest place for me to go, and so I made a bunch of friends there. And then there was another skate park in town that cost like $5 a day.
Was it that indoor one?
Indoor? Yeah,
Whoa.
BTB.
Yeah.
They were both indoor. I actually got really lucky with the parks that we had. But then, from there, in 6th grade, my homie Jason Bontrager moved from Nebraska, and he was like the only other skater that I knew. And so we just became friends instantly and just nerded out. Like, we'd be in the library of the school, like looking at the skate magazines, and he shreds, so.
When did you figure
lifelong
out?
skaters.
When did you figure out when you wanted to make this a full-time thing? Like, were you filming skateboard videos with your friends? Was there a local scene video?
I definitely was filming skate videos with my homies, but just fun. Like, honestly, I didn't ever really think I never thought I was gonna be a pro skater. Like, I was so outside of the mix that I didn't really think I'd ever be inside of it. And so honestly, like, even whenever I had sponsors and I was doing well, like Tampa Am, I qualified first several years. Like, I still didn't think of myself as a pro skater.
So you were still kind of in this little bubble of Joplin, and you were
Yeah.
going to these competitions.
Yeah.
And how were you figuring out about these competitions?
Well, my Judd Heald was one of my first sponsors, skateboard sponsor, and we traveled around the country and did little demos, and like, we'd always be in Florida, so he signed me up for the contest. And I remember the first year, it was so intimidating because there's like hundreds of insanely good skateboarders, and I didn't do that good, didn't do that well at all, really. And then the second year I did, because I went home and it just like lit a fire under me and just kind of changed how I skated. I got to see people skate like that I hadn't ever seen skate like that before, so I was just hyped. Went home, tried to skate more like people I saw, you know what I mean?
Did you want to, during that time, did you feel yourself as as like a contest skater or as a street skater?
No, definitely a street skater. It's just that there weren't that many street spots in my hometown, so we had like a good downhill mani pad. We had like a 17 stair rail and like an 8 stair rail, like a few spots, and they weren't very good. They were decent. So I always had to drive like 2 or 3 hours with some friends to go to some real street spots in like the bigger cities, like a couple hours away from Joplin. But yeah, I was always filming like heavy in Joplin, just making spots, finding the spots. They're,
Yeah.
good for what we had. I was stoked, but I don't know. It didn't really phase me of thinking of skateboarding as a career until I was actually in the middle of it. And
Were you working at the
Still.
time? Like when you're
Yeah,
in the
I
ninth
mean,
grade?
yeah, I got a job at the skate shop first. And
Oh,
then-
shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
Just
crazy.
like, you got to. And then
So you took it full blown, like you're in it.
I was in it for sure, but like, just, I don't know if my brain was fully developed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it took a long time.
Were you
But-
drinking or partying around that age?
No, honestly, I didn't really want to, because the kids, whenever I first started skating, all the guys I looked up to that were so good, they all started drinking and partying, and then they quit skating, and I was just kind of bummed. I was like, where are they at?
Well, I asked
Every
that.
day.
Well, I asked that is because I'm from Albuquerque, and that's where we met. And that
Yeah.
the same thing, small town vibe. Everyone knows each other, and the only thing you do is go to the skate park and get turned up. And it kind of fucks with your vision a lot, because I feel like there's
sure.
so much talent in Albuquerque, and probably a lot of talent where you're from.
Yeah.
And if people would have stayed on the right track,
Mhm.
it would have been a whole different story for everybody.
Yeah.
I believe.
And it's hard to see that, like, when you're a kid, you just want everything fun, and then partying's obviously fun, and, like, you know, a little horny teenager, you meet girls whenever you go drink, so it's easy to do that. But I guess I just always, I loved skateboarding the most, so as much as I could, I just wanted to skate more than anything else. I didn't really start drinking until I moved to California.
Got that
I was like
LA
22.
dirty on.
I mean, honestly, my dad talked me into it because I would go to these contests and I would go out to the parties and events, and you know, I'd come home. My dad would ask me about it, and he asked me if I drank. I was like, no, and he'd be like, you need to drink and hang out with those people, associate with those guys. And I was like, what?
Whoa.
This is the opposite of anything you ever told me my whole life. I thought I was gonna get grounded if I told you I had a beer.
Damn, how old were you at the time when he's telling you that?
20, 21.
Oh yeah, you're still there. Legal.
Yeah.
Legal.
I just didn't really feel like it. Like, I don't know. Just
Yeah,
wanted to
that's
skate.
crazy. You know how so you kind of got peer pressured into drinking
From my dad.
Yeah.
No, he gave me solid advice, you know. No, I mean, whenever I moved to California, then I really got around, like, kind of out of my little box where I also had a job. I was designing skate parks.
Oh shit.
I got that whenever I was like 20.
So you're going to college?
No,
No?
I didn't.
Did
no,
you graduate?
I graduated, and then I wanted to go to a film and art school or architecture, but I kind of had like scholarship-ish, but honestly, whenever I went and saw some schools and I didn't know much about the scholarship, and I didn't really have anybody around me that knew. I just wasn't exploring it really, and I just wanted to skate, so it was just kind of like off my plate real quick, and then yeah.
We're at the skate shop. So you're working at the skate shop. Is that where you kind of met your first connections of maybe getting free skateboards or clothes or shoes? Were you repped by anybody around that time? Like, were you sending
kinda.
sponsor me videos, or how did you jump from the leap from being nobody to a little sponsor to growing?
I mean, I got lucky with my homie Judd moving to my hometown,
Yeah,
and he
like
had a
you said,
skateboard
yeah.
company, so he just started giving me boards.
And he was connected with people in the industry.
For sure, yeah. He's a long time ripper, but he would always go skate Tampa Pro, and you know, so he would take me to that stuff. And so I would say that my connection into skateboarding definitely came from just skating those contests. And you know, whenever I'd go skate them, I couldn't stop skating. Like, I would do well in the qualifier, but by the time of the finals, like, I would be so beat I couldn't walk. Like, I would do all right, but in the finals, but yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't stop skating, and then people in the industry, that was my only time ever really around these types of people, so they'd come up to me and started getting, you know, all kinds of sponsors like Indy, Spitfire, and I don't know, The Kind. And
How did that come about?
I talked to the team manager a little bit while I skated a contest, but you know, I was just like a Missouri boy, like Midwest, not really knowing what's up in the
And no teams are going to Missouri at all.
Yeah, I mean, there is definitely a stigma of it, because whenever you're so outside, it's hard to like understand the way a lot of people's brains work, and that's one of the biggest things in skateboarding that holds people back, is being able to get in a van with 10 dudes that are gonna give you a hard time, but like, you know, they respect you already skating, and you know, but you get in a van with people and you wanna joke around and make sure that you can make fun of yourself, and that's definitely a hard learning curve for a lot of skateboarders, like going from getting free product to actually getting in the van. You just kind of have to be willing to joke and like be cool, and like, you know, whenever you're in a van for 2 weeks with a bunch of rowdy skateboarders, you're going to be in all kinds of moods, from being hungry to like, you know, just being
Breaking
tired,
up with your girlfriend, or
breaking
wanting
up
to
with
go
your
party,
girl,
or falling, you're hurting
yeah,
yourself.
being hungover, or being too beat up to do anything. And it's just like, it's like a team environment. So it's like, dude, it doesn't matter that much how you feel. Just suck it up. Make sure everybody else around you feels good too. Like, you know, join in on the fun. Don't be a downer.
Do you think a lot of kids coming up kind of screw themselves?
Yeah,
When people love them and they have the hype up, and then they jump in the van and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, dude, it's heartbreaking, because it's like, you can't stop like the antics, you know? It's all in good fun. And then like, you know, like, I think one of the things is that like a lot of times we have to leave somewhere. It's like everybody in the van at 10 a.m. And, you know, we might have been out all night partying or might have been out all night filming, but we still got to get on the road or wherever we got to be. So I feel like sometimes if people lag on that, like you'll have the whole team waiting on you for like 30 minutes or whatever. And that's kind of like the time where people are
Your credit score's going down.
Around. Yeah, credit score's going down. Everyone's grumpy. Not a single person wanted to be in that fucking van. You know what I mean? So,
and it's also the worst.
And then you come in the van, and then it's kind of like that person's tired too, and then just go throughout the day and you're just kind of joking around, and it's overwhelming. It's a lot.
It's also the worst when it's the person that's getting no clips or not like serving no purpose but bad energy.
I mean, that's it's
the worst.
It's such a hard cycle because it's such pressure. Like you want to make sure you get something good. You don't want to waste anybody's time either, because if you're trying something, you know that like everybody else is waiting. So it's just a very difficult, but like I'm not trying to discourage anybody because it's so fun. It's so worth it. You learn a lot about yourself, but you have to be tough. Like
I for people to know, if your audience watching, I'm an ex-professional BMX rider. I've got kicked off of every sponsor I've ever had, and besides when I got sober, because think about Baker or think about the craziest party crew ever that was called FBM Bikes. It was the craziest party crew. I got kicked off of that team for partying too hard on a trip, and I was 17, 18. So that shows you, like, if you, and this is just my opinion, if you want to succeed in this industry of bikes, skating, or any industry, you kind of have to put your emotions aside when you're doing a team thing and kind of like have fun, but also understand that it's a relationship with everybody. You got the filmers, you got team managers, you got other person, like you were saying. You don't want people waiting on you. You want to like be a ghost in a way, but have your clips and your skating speak for you. But that's not saying don't be yourself.
But even if like whenever there are hard times and it's a bummer and like maybe you didn't get any clips, I think you want to be the person that makes everybody fucking smile. Like, make everybody laugh. Like, do something. Like, don't just sit there and be sad about what's going on, because we all are.
And even if you haven't, you haven't earned your keep yet. Yeah. Like, okay, now you got like a dude that's been there for 10 years that's put in his work. You got the Chiefs. Those are quotation marks allowed to kind of do that because they put in the work and they know they helped build the brand. Yeah. But I feel like I screwed myself a lot.
Peter Hewitt, pro skateboarder, fucking legend. I remember he had an interview once, and he said it the best in my mind. He said, basically, you have to suffer more. Like, if you feel like you deserve it and you haven't made it yet, well, turns out you just got to suffer more.
Most definitely.
Like, that's just, we all do. And
but that's the thing. Share that. When you do drugs and alcohol, especially coming up, it makes it 10 times harder. But if you're sober, and you don't have to be sober, but if you're sober on the trips, you have to deal with the drunk fucks, which sucks. It sucks, but you got clarity. At least you can walk away from a situation like, yo, homie, you're drunk, and you're okay on that mode. Like, kind of be an intern completely and be the most professional way you can be a first few times, and kind of show your value in a way.
But yeah, I mean, you just support the people around you. Yeah. Like, we all just want to skate. So like, if we're out skating, like, hell yeah, we're gonna have a great time. Yeah. Like, you're in the van for a reason, and like, you're skating still for a reason, or BMXing, whatever it is that you're doing it for a reason, and people around you respect you, and that's why you're there. But that can get cloudy sometimes whenever you just are around a bunch of dudes that want to like have fun with anything.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why kind of being in LA. That's why kind of being in LA helps a lot of people, because you're around pro skaters all day. If you're in Joplin, Missouri, and you're a flow dude, you're at least hanging out with these dudes all day, every day. So going on trips isn't as bad. But you gotta remember that you're a random flow kid coming in from wherever, and you're not with the team all the time, and that can make things foggy as well. That's why a lot of people like to be here, because you're with the team, skating, riding, whatever, all the time, and you build relationships with everyone where you could kind of act a fool once in a while, because that's your actual real homie.
It's that art culture, you know, like whether skaters want to think of themselves as artists or not, whatever, like not really, but like we are people who are focused on art, and like we're focused on style and creativity, and we want to see that from the people around us. So if you get a lot of people that are have minds like that, we're focused on music and clothes and painting, drawing, like all of that. So like I think people should just be aware that, like, if it's skating or biking or whatever it is, like, you don't want that to be your only thing.
Yeah.
Like, you want to be able to connect with people around you on other things. So if you have any other interests, whether they're small or not, like, pursue those too, because that will help you in the long run.
Have you always been that way, where you've had skating, but you've always had little side interest?
For sure. I mean, I grew up super into art. That's why I wanted to go into art school. But, you know, as skating took over my life, I definitely just focused on that for a long time. But gradually, like, I would always still, you know, make things, like, always. I didn't focus on it so much, and I didn't really share about it that much. But as I saw people painting or tagging or doing whatever, like, you know, I like, you know, I'm into it, but I might not be doing it at the time, but I'm still seeing what people do. And then also, it's just personality-wise, like, for example, one of my teammates, Aaron Jaws Smoky, like, one of the funniest motherfuckers alive, like, good energy, spicy motherfucker, don't get on his bad side, but learn how to make fun of yourself, and like, you just could have the best time ever, or like, let it hurt you and not realize that it's all in good fun.
I feel like a lot of people in the industry as well, like, if they have a hobby, they feel like they might get shunned for painting, or they might not think that their art is good enough, or people might feel like they're making fun of them. Like, if they're a pro skater, but they also make music, like, they're not going to promote the music as much because they feel like, oh fuck, like, it's not as good, or people make fun of them. I feel like there's a lot of clowning going on.
Made fun of, though.
Yeah,
like, you gotta, like, if you're gonna do something, you gotta be able to take the heat too. So if people are clowning you on something, then, like, whatever, like, they can either fuck off, or you can, like, take little bits and pieces and just restructure or whatever, you know. But, like, those people aren't, you know, if you're skating with them or whatever, you're hanging out with them, they respect you in a way, and, like, they're in whatever they're giving type of energy for you, it could be looked at as for your own benefit too, you know. So it's just like, sometimes you just got to get a thicker skin and toughen up and like, be grateful for, like, at least you're hanging around.
They're paying attention.
Yeah, at least they're giving you shit.
Yeah.
Like, at least they're not afraid to not say anything. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. It's how you take it.
Yeah.
What was your first skate trip? In the van?
Like a real team trip?
Yeah, real team trip.
Man, that's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. Besides, like, my local sponsors, like,
you know,
because
you're
I
that
was
kid.
always in a van then, so whenever I did get in, like, I would say Birdhouse would probably be my first, like, real van trip.
And how did that come apart? How did Birdhouse come along?
Well, I sent Birdhouse a sponsor me tape in, like, 2009, or I gave him one at Tampa Am, and
you're on your homie's company at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually had just quit that company. I was getting 5-borough boards for a little bit.
Oh shit, New York.
Yeah. Okay. And then, but I knew I wasn't getting on that team either. I felt too outside and too Midwest. But, so I was actually looking through a CCS. Like, I looked at all the brands in there, and I tried to pick one that I thought I could fit in, or, like, which one I liked the most or respected the most. And I picked Birdhouse, like, way back then. I don't know why. I just always loved it. Obviously, like, Tony was the reason why I skated, really. So I gave him a sponsor tape, and I didn't hear back.
You knew Tony or TM at the time of Birdhouse, or anybody at Birdhouse?
I remember seeing Steve Herring, like, at the contest. I knew David Loy just because we skated him, and he
shout
was
out
a little punk. Yeah, shout out D-Loy, little punk ass. No, I love the fool, but he was like 16.
He's D-Loy, let's go.
He's a funny kid, man. But ripped at skating. I loved his skating, still do.
Savage.
Then,
I love D-Loy.
Yeah, I just figured out who the TM was. I think maybe David might have told me. I gave him a tape, and then didn't hear back. It was about 2 years later. Like,
Damn, 2 years later?
Mm-hmm.
And you're still working at the skate shop, so you're just getting boards?
No, I was designing skate parks in Missouri. I pretty much quit some of my sponsors, and then, you know, I was just. Then I was over that, and then just came out to California, and I ended up moving in with a homie that was just, like, a couple miles from where David lived. And then David, coincidentally, like, a month before, got on the same clothing sponsor as me. We skated for an East Coast small clothing brand.
What was that called?
It was called Ergo.
Okay. They
were hooking us up. Like, Joe Hammocky was the team manager. Dan Trahova was on. A bunch of really sick people, but it ultimately fell through. But since David lived, like, a few miles away, and I think he was probably 17, like, he would hit me up every day. I'd go pick him up. We'd go skate, go link with the Birdhouse filmer, got some street clips, and then like 4 months after moving to California, I went and skated Phoenix Am, and I was doing pretty good. I just kind of had like, I kind of always steered away from tricks that other people would do, so I kind of had my own bag of tricks, and I just started getting into like wall ride to grinds and wall ride Wally blunts or slappy blunts down hubbas and stuff, and that was my thing. Like every time I skated somewhere, and no one else did that.
Yeah.
And then so it kind of made me stand out, like without realizing it, because just like I just always wanted to do what was the most fun, and that's what those kind of tricks are to me, are just the most fun.
Yeah.
So skating that contest, I had Birdhouse out of my head. Like David wasn't telling me to get on. David was telling me like, don't try to skate for Birdhouse. Like he was like,
he was telling you no?
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
but he had a little bad experience with some of his friends that he got on.
Oh,
and
shit.
then, you know, he was like 16, 17, still figuring stuff out. Like, and so he just told me not to. And then so Birdhouse team manager asked me if I want to skate for Birdhouse.
He's like, hey, we found that sponsor me tape. It popped up randomly.
Well, I had gotten some clips with their filmer
Yeah.
like over the past few months, and they were pretty decent.
You didn't mention the sponsor tape at all, filming with them? Like, hey, I sent you guys. Have you guys like an update on that?
Nah,
No?
I mean, like I didn't really.
Just didn't sweat it. Yeah.
No, I didn't sweat it. I just did what I had to do. I was like, take this. Sorry.
And Birdhouse was the only sponsor me tape you sent to. Only Birdhouse.
Yeah, I think, man, I don't know, man. Maybe I tried to get some shoes from I know I gave Jason Rothmeyer a tape before. I don't know what for. It could have been for Zero. I could have sent one that way, but and then like, yeah, years later, Jamie did mention to me if I wanted to skate for Zero, but it was just. I've been on Birdhouse for like 14 years now. And
Yeah, well, how old were you when you got on?
I was 22.
And did we meet on the Birdhouse trip?
Yeah.
That was a Birdhouse trip.
That's how we met, yeah.
Dude, we were on one. We were talking about that at the
Yeah.
spot. Like, yeah, we're just talking so much nonsense. I think we kind of like, or the energy of us were not combining, bro. Because I was on one, you were on one. D-Lay was definitely on one.
I remember,
but it's
but
so good. Like,
dude, we had a lot to drink.
That was the fun. Do you?
Now I don't think do you drink still?
No,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
think
near
either.
sober. I just drink caffeines all day. Drinkcaffeine.com. The
It
best.
feels so much better.
Yes, but so let's go back. Sorry, I keep kind of like hopping all over. But that's
they
the first
asked me
skate trip.
to skate for them, and I couldn't say yes. I don't know why, but I didn't have it in me to say yes right then because I was skating a 5-borough board, and honestly, I'm just loyal, and so I didn't I was like, you know, they just sent me some boards literally to help me out, but I felt bad to just quit like that, and then it took me like a week. A week later, I was thinking about it. I was like, well, why haven't I said yes yet? This was the company that I wanted to skate for. What's wrong with me? And then I just called him, and I was like, yeah, I'll skate for you. I think part of it was that David didn't want me to skate for Birdhouse at the time.
Well, is it because he put people on and they quit and kind of like made him look bad?
Plus,
Is that?
you know, we were just hanging out. He's got two brothers, and we were just hanging around, like brother energy. So you're picking at each other, and like I think he just didn't want to have more of that energy on the team where he could feel like I was a few years older than him. So
Were you close with Aaron, Clive, Clint at the time too? Because they were on. Were you guys skating all together?
I said what up to Clint. Like I said what up to all these guys. I actually, like a couple years later is how we got Clive on.
Yeah.
Like partially because of me. I mean, like no, mainly because of him. But I do remember
put in the work.
suggesting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just explain how I actually got on the team. So I put on Flow, and then Birdhouse was doing a Europe tour, like 2 months later. And I remember I walked into Tony's office at Birdhouse after I said yes. And I saw Tony, and Tony was like, "Hey, Shawn," and I was just like, "How did you just say my name?"
This is the first time meeting him?
Craziest thing, yeah.
Cool.
It was a trip, like mind blown, you know. And then we did this Built to Shred episode for Fuel TV where they built a big ramp wall ride over his pool in his backyard. And he, like, that day he just told me about that. He was like, "Yeah, you come if you want, like, it'll be fun." And then, so that was a few weeks later. skated that thing, and there's this big scary wall ride over Tony's pool with like a 13-foot roll in, super ghetto, and then a quarter pipe, and then like 12 feet, and then like a ledge that went up for his pool because it was higher on this side. And he had a wall ride. It was probably like a 16-foot gap or so. And Tony was the only one that could do it. And everybody else that tried it, like a couple people hit that ledge, and it's like, dude, it was terrifying. And then so what happened is I just asked Tony, I was like, got any advice for it? And he was like, he told me, he was like, just try to go in a straight line over it. And then I was sweating bullets.
But you're amped, you're hyped, you're ready.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I wanted to try it, but I was definitely really scared. But so the roll-in was really like rickety, and we had like 4 people up there. And Tony looked at me. He was like, I don't remember what he said, but he was like, not too much space up here. You gonna try it? And then I was like, okay. And then just dropped in. Dude, I did not want to go right there, but I carved it. I just followed his advice, and I made it over. And made it over first try, which, like, I was the only other person to do it besides Tony. And, yeah, I was hyped, had a lot of fun. And then, like, I think the next day they gave me a call, and they're like, hey, we told you couldn't come to Europe with us, but Tony was stoked at your skating yesterday, and he wanted to extend the invite. And that's pretty much how I got on, because then I went to Europe with them. And
damn, so what, the next day you're pretty much flying into Europe?
Yeah, it was just like maybe like within a month there was like a full tour, like double-decker bus, and you know, like all around Europe. And you know, we just did demos for like massive crowds. I think the first demo was, I just skated a mini ramp outside this concert, but the demo was a vert ramp demo for opening for Pharrell, like back when he was Nerd, you know, like huge concert. And yeah, it was mind-blowing.
Who was all on that trip?
Jaws, David Loy, John Rob Moore, Ghost, Clint Walker. This was before Clive Dixon's time. And then Willie Santos, Kevin Staub.
Oh, you're on the it's a full-blown tour, bro.
Full-blown tour, yeah. I was just a skate rat, you know, like skate park. I loved skate parks, and we were doing demos. I grew up doing demos with my homie Judd, so when it came time to do a demo, like, I pretty much knew what to do. I was good at skating contests, so I just kind of pick big things, like pick hard tricks, and just try to, like, that was what I wanted to do anyways, like, most fun for me. So on that trip, like, I did well skating the demos, like crowd pleasing, you know, like that's what we were there to do. And so by the end of the trip, they pretty much put me on the team. Like I skated all the street spots, you know, I skated there the whole time. And then unfortunately some of the guys didn't really skate like that, you know, they kind of just took it as like a party tour. And it ended up you know, a couple little things that shouldn't have been done too, and it kind of hurt their future with the brand, and then it kind of opened up a door for me, like, unknowingly. But
was that tour crazy? Was there a lot of partying, like, crazy?
Yeah, dude.
'Cause were you guys partying with Nerd at all?
No, maybe Tony did. But
Yeah, nah, he for sure was.
I don't know. I don't even remember, but I probably said what up to him. Don't remember.
Were you drinking on this trip?
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I had just started drinking, so it was all new to me, lightweight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was crazy. It was a dream. Like, I couldn't believe it.
That's so wild.
And
so
then, yeah.
So you go from Flow, and now you come home. Now you're on AM.
Pretty much, yeah. They told me after the trip, they were like, we want to put you on, shoot a photo for an ad. And then so I hit up Rhino, the team manager for Indy, one of the biggest goats in skateboarding. He's the sickest dude. And yeah, I just linked with him in San Diego for a couple days, shot a few photos. I think we got, I might have shot the Birdhouse ad with somebody else, but I know that we shot like a heads interview for Thrasher, like in that weekend, and it all came together for there. And then, yeah, like at the same time, other companies I skated for, Vox Footwear at the time, they put me on all the way, and Indy, and I don't know. All of a sudden, like now is AM for like all my sponsors, which was crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. So are you getting paid for people that don't know, When do some sponsors actually start paying when you're AM or pro?
AM.
Okay.
AM is whenever you usually start getting a check, and it's not like you get paid a lot, but to get any money is nice.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, because I was like, when I first moved to California for the first year, I still designed skate parks. Like, I would work all night designing parks so that I could go skate and film all day. Like, I was barely getting any sleep. I go to sleep at like 6 a.m.
And designing skate parks, what do you mean? Like, for people that don't know.
Oh yeah, I did 3D modeling and like graphic design, like laying out skate parks and for cities. Like basically, what I did was I was just 3D modeler, and I would just, like, cities would request skate parks. They'd either give us like something that they got from another company, or like drawings from the kids or whatever, or just give me a blank canvas and I would design whatever I wanted. And so at the time I was doing concrete parks, and I was a little skate nerd, so I'd make unique obstacles. I'd design like some pro series obstacle based on like famous skate spots, and then I had a lot of fun designing parks for them. But
did any of them get made?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh shit!
They wouldn't really tell me though. Like, they just had me like workhorse in like as many designs as possible, and then like at this time, they just mailed me out a computer whenever I left Missouri, because I didn't tell them, but they still wanted me to work for them. They actually gave me a little raise.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So you're getting paid all over.
And I was trying to I was working like 50 hours a week, had a little office in Joplin, shared office, but so then I was working from home trying to do 40 hours a week, and it was just like, with all the skating and everything going on, it went from like 40 to 30 to 20 to like 10 hours, and then it was just like I had to call and quit, because I started making enough money from skating that I could survive without working there, and I didn't want to do a bad job, like stressing on getting my work done. I was just like, I gotta stop.
No, yeah, for sure.
They could see it coming, I'm sure, because it was less and less hours. But definitely, like, moving from Joplin, which there wasn't too much money in Joplin, everything was really cheap, and then moving to LA, it was just like, how the hell would I possibly be able to afford that? And that's the reason why I didn't leave at 18. But I kind of got lucky with working for them, and then them still employing me after moving to California, because that's
really
the
cool.
hardest part. But
yeah.
Anybody wanting to do the same and they're afraid to leave their town, it's just like, if you feel like you need to be somewhere else, you should go there.
You're only young once.
You'll find money there.
Yes.
And if you don't have enough money in your town, everything's cheaper there, well, guess what? They're going to pay you more in the more expensive place anyways for the same thing. And
well, I feel like a lot of people's pride too is like, I don't want to Uber. I don't want to Uber Eats. I don't want to work at the grocery store. It's like, well, you should probably take that chance, because if you're doing that in a small town where there's nothing to offer, you should might as well do it in the city that has everything to offer. And this is where the industry's at. Yeah. So I've never been too cool for any type of job,
There's no, dude, I've delivered food too at times. I couldn't pay my rent out here. I was like, oh, I'm going to do DoorDash. Like, there's nothing uncool about paying your rent and doing
money's
what you
money.
Want to do. Yeah.
Bro, you'll see legit big name pros at the bar bartending.
Yeah.
And being
That's
bar
good
bats.
money.
Yeah.
Good money.
It's not cool. Like, skate in the morning, go work at night. But I feel like people end up like coming out here and they get caught up in the party. I go back to the party. It's like, I don't have regrets in life, but if one thing I would have done is probably took things way more seriously, even though I know like there's a cap when it comes to where you can make it in BMX. Skateboarding is a whole different level, but the opportunities, because you end up burning a lot of bridges, you end up ruining your name in certain ways. But again, I don't have regrets because it put me in the same situation.
Yeah, dude, it seems like you got yourself through some
good
good situations.
You make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
But for kids watching, if it's what you really want to do in anything, like, definitely take advantage and do what you got to do. You're not too cool to go fucking clean bathrooms. It doesn't matter. Like, get your ass up, make opportunities, make new friends, travel, because you're only young once, but also have something in the back burner, because if the skating thing, bike thing, art thing, anything doesn't work out, at least you're able to have a roof over your head where you're able to go do that stuff on the weekends or whenever you can.
My thought is like, if you had like, basically for me, it's like anything that made me happy when I was a kid is what I want to do for my whole life.
Yes.
You know, like whether it's drawing or skating or whatever, like we all have those little magnets in our childhood that we were drawn to before we even like had a full brain. So like I love to go back to that. And so if you're gonna move out somewhere and you're thinking, oh, I don't want to work at a grocery store, well then don't. Think about what you actually love and go work there. Like, you know, if you love drawing, go apply to be a janitor at an art studio. Like whatever it is, just try to like magnetize to the things that actually make you happy, and you'll maybe have to suffer a little bit with some jobs that you don't want to do, but at least you're around the people who are doing what they want to do and you're adding something to your life. I would say like working at McDonald's or a grocery store is like, it would be like the last ditch effort, because you know anybody could go get that job, but go apply to the places that like have something to do with what makes you happy.
It puts you in the direction.
Even if it's not what you want to do.
Yes.
Just do it anyways. Be around those people, make friends with those people, see what they have to say, and you know.
And you also doing that, you're gonna be in the industry and you're like, this is really it's not what I thought it was, or maybe you even love it more. But I feel like so many people get discouraged and like, oh, how do I go about it? Like where I'm at, dude, I just go into places, I'll show face, like, hey, what's up? I just like to introduce myself. And still this day, you know, like this beverage company could blow up and be massive.
Yeah.
But I'm still not going to feel too cool enough to go do something like throw the trash somewhere else at a spot that like an art show or something, because I'm interested in art. Like I'm a kid always. Like
exactly.
you know, like and I also love learning.
Yeah.
I love learning.
Same.
And I love surrounding myself with things that I love. Like there's like you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I still this day don't feel too cool. I was a professional BMX rider. I worked at a store at OSS. I filmed videos for a BMX website and a rap website. I Ubered food, all that stuff. I did Postmates, all these at one time. And I'm never too good for it. Like obviously, if I was making enough money at one thing, if I didn't have to do it, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It's not like it could always be worse. Not having a roof over your head, not having food, looking at your bank account means zero. That's the worst.
Yeah.
So that's the uncool thing to do, bro. If you're broke and have zero money, that's uncool. I think that's way less uncool than Ubering or having food on the table. You feel me?
You just got to spend your energy.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. When did you become pro? Do you remember the day you got pro from Birdhouse?
Yeah, I think it was 2017. They surprised me. It was about a month. We had this big video project called it was Birdhouse Saturdays. I think it came out in 2017. Pretty much killed ourselves for that video. I had a part like it wasn't as much as I wanted it to be. I was trying so hard for a group of tricks, and a bunch of them didn't work out, but I was stoked. Still had a part. People still really liked it. I remember at the premiere they termed Clive Pro, which was epic.
Is this your first full
Clive
video
had
part?
Best like the ender part, like gnarly.
Clive did?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It was my first video part in like a full legit video that was like, you know, where we had a budget and set dates and set filmers. But I had video parts in other videos before that, but not so organized as this one. And that's actually like right when the video started filming, I sprained my ankle, the worst I ever had. And like, it was bad. And that's actually when I started like came up with the idea to make these shoes to help prevent ankle injuries, because that's like, since I had that serious project come up, like biggest opportunity in my life, and then I took it seriously. I was like, why am I hurting my ankles all the time? I had foot and ankle injuries like almost yearly, like the whole time I was skating. So it would just take me out for 3 months, come back, skate for 6, get taken out again. And that's the reason why I developed Avos, is because on those skate trips, those road trips, I was seeing a physical therapist, and he told me he always wanted me to use a tennis ball to roll out my foot, but I was bad at it. So I'd come back a couple weeks later, and he'd be like, "Your foot is still really tight. Have you been rolling it out?" I'd be like, "No." I'm terrible at it. And then I was like, well, I know I'm supposed to do that, but what can I do to help prevent these injuries in the first place? I'll do that. And he was like, same thing. He was like, your foot is chronically tight from wearing shoes, just like everybody else. Your feet don't get that much movement, and you need to loosen them up actively if you want to skate without injuring things in your feet. And yeah, so on those road trips filming for that video, I brought like, you know, massage balls, like all kinds of things to get myself to take it seriously, and I still didn't. And so driving between a couple cities, I think we were driving to Detroit, filming trip, I had just gotten the iPad, like with the pencil, and it was my favorite thing, just draw in between trips, and I just drew a little design for a slide with a ball in it. And
this was just off. You didn't see inspiration.
No,
this is like,
my first thought was, I need a shoe, I need a slide, a sandal that will do this for me. So I looked on the internet for anything, because I was like, surely somebody has. Like every athlete knows about this tennis ball thing. We all hear it. We see people do it. And then so I looked around online and saw nothing. And so I was like, well, it doesn't seem that hard. I just drew a slide with a ball on it, like made it removable. And then whenever I got home from that trip, I was actually living with Mike Mo.
But how was that feeling when you're like, holy shit, nobody's ever done this? Did the entrepreneurial
for sure
come from that?
Yeah, because I mean, I had mocked up all kinds of ideas for things that people weren't doing. I think it came from my skate brain of like wanting to do tricks that other people weren't doing. So this wasn't my first idea, like not my first endeavor, but it was the first one that panned all the way out. Other things, I started projects, like different things I wanted to make, and got close, but no cigar.
But this was the feeling like, oh my, this is
the first cigar, yeah.
Yes, I love it, dude.
But yeah, so whenever I got home, I was living with Mike Mo, and I was way too beat up to skate, so I just was like, oh, I'm going to make these sandals. So I just got a pair of slides, and I went and talked to my homie that was a woodworker. I was like, how am I going to make a perfect hole in this? And he was like, use a hole saw. So found the right hole saw, drilled a hole in it, threw a tennis ball in it, walked around the house. I was like, this is what I need. This is so easy, except that, like, you know, they were all janky. So, like, I was almost rolling my ankle in those. But from there,
and it was popped up a lot, or did you measure it?
It was just a slide with a hole in it with a tennis ball.
And so it actually had the big
full tennis ball, yeah. Like out the bottom, out the top. So like I'd be walking around and it'd be like, ooh, like no almost roll my ankle in them. I was like, well, that's the opposite of what I need.
You just roll your ankle.
So from there, it's just like, you know, I'd be skating as hard as I can, filming and beating the shit out of myself to where I couldn't skate for weeks at a time sometimes. And I would take all those times. I still have so much energy to skate. I just focused it into like doing some 3D modeling, learning more about that, learning about 3D printing, learning about patents and business formation. So I just took my skate energy and I directed it into something that could be useful for beyond skateboarding. Because even with skating, it's not like you, like I never imagined making that much money from skating, like not enough to support a family. So I kind of was always thinking like, how can I start a business? Like, is there anything that I can make? And then finally had something where I was like, not only do I feel like I can, I feel like I need to, because it's not just me that needs this, like all my friends, like none of us are, we're all dealing with the same exact thing and there's nothing out there to help it. So from there, like slowly developed the concept and then figured out how to start a patent, figured out how to make my concept actually patentable, like for a utility patent, because it's kind of tricky.
Were you reaching out to facilities at this point to see who could make it? Like, were you sending them renders, or
No.
you still have the...
I just prototyped at home, 3D printed and made molds until I had something that like looked like a real product, and then got my patent submitted. And after I got a provisional patent in to like mark the concept and the date, then I took it to a doctor, Dr. Kyle Brown. I showed him. I was like, hey, do you think that this would be useful? Like, he's a doctor of physical therapy. And he pretty much told me, he's like, dude, honestly, I didn't, like, he's like, so many people have shown me their things like this and they're never really that great. But he was like, this is actually very useful, and he was stoked on it, and he showed a bunch of colleagues, and he was like, they all had good remarks about it. So that gave me the encouragement I needed to like start trying to manufacture it. So I just literally got on Alibaba.com and started hitting up overseas manufacturers that just had no idea what I was talking about when I was like,
and it's a language barrier
showing them
too.
pictures of this, you know, and then and kind of hit some dead ends with that. And then I hit up my homie Jorge Hidalgo, who is my business partner in this, who helped me build the whole thing. I used to live with him. He worked for like some skate companies in design. That's how I originally met him, like 16, 18 years ago. But he has, you know, to this day, he has like 15 years of startup experience. And I saw him like, you know, designing bottles and getting them made, which kind of like before all of this sparked me onto 3D modeling. Like I just wanted to help him, so I would just 3D model like his ideas. And
You were 3D modeling?
yeah,
Yeah, and that helped a lot. So a lot of people that don't know, that's really expensive to do.
yeah.
So that helped you a lot in cost.
Yeah, but you know, I learned, like I worked for a skate park company, but the day I started, they just made me do tutorials. Like I just got on their program, did tutorials, and so, you know, I did that for a couple years and learned a lot. But whenever I started this, I had not been working for like 4 or 5 years, but I knew all I had to do was find a free program and start doing tutorials. And so I just did tutorials until I could do it, and then did it for 3D modeling. And like it's the same way you would learn any job.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know how, you can easily do it. Just gonna take a little time.
Yeah. And a lot of people, again, will just stop right there, like, oh, I don't know how to do it. Or they just get discouraged and be like, no, on to the next.
Just depends how bad you want to do
exactly.
it, and if you make time for yourself.
Yes. So what was the point from the idea, thinking about the van, to actually getting your first sample? How many years?
Ooh, it took a bit because I started going to visiting factories in Mexico in 2019.
So you're in talks with them. You meet them on Alibaba?
Yeah.
Or through your partner?
No, through my partner, because he was manufacturing tequila near Guadalajara, Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And they make a lot of shoes around that area too. And so I had already visited Guadalajara with him to go to Tequila, Mexico, and saw the distilleries. And Guadalajara has insane skate spots. Like, you would love them too. Like, really good transition.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Mexico slept on.
dude.
It's insane.
So whenever he suggested that we talk to some factories there, I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, it was a no-brainer for me because I wanted to skate there anyways. So that was around the beginning of 2019, long process.
And that's during COVID too.
Right before COVID.
Oh, jeez.
And funny, like, Nine Club asked me to come on the Nine Club podcast around October 2019, and we had already been talking to factories all year, and like they gave us estimates. They're like, yeah, we could have these done by March 2020, and so went on Nine Club, and we hadn't even built a website yet because we were still on that side of stuff. And my partner Jorge was just like, dude, just tell them it's available for pre-order. We'll build the site tonight, and then you know, our factories are saying that we'll have it by March. So that's what we did. And then COVID hit, of course. And then that took it from supposedly being done in March. Because what I've learned is that the factories will tell you. Like,
Yeah, they want to tell you what they want to hear. They want your money.
It's insane.
Yes.
It's like every deadline that you can possibly get from them, there'll be something that will mess it up. Like whether they'll be like, oh, this factory actually didn't deliver this, so now we have to push you back.
It's a trickling effect.
It's just like,
and if you're a small fish,
Yeah.
if there's somebody producing 30 million shoes, and if you're only producing 10,000 or whatever the amount is, they're like, you're pushed as far as back as possible.
Least important.
Yes.
And then we'll keep doing that to you. So what I had to do was literally book flights. Like to get them to even do any work on it, I had to show up at their door. So I probably flew there like 8 to 10 times just to get it.
Just to get a sample.
Just to get it through that phase, because we would have molds made, and like, you know, they would just not be working on it. Like I would send them the 3D files, and then it would be like a month after they said they would have it done, and I'd just be like, okay, well, Jorge would be like, we just got to show up, man. So we book flights, go there, and be like, where's the mold? So if they knew we were coming, they would work on it like the day before, and then we'd show up and they'd be stressed out and they'd be like, yeah, we're doing it. But you know, we're only paying them a very small amount compared to everybody else. So I'm very thankful for all those guys in the factories and for even doing it with us, because it takes a lot for for them to be down for a small amount of money, you know.
And people don't realize that factories will, it sounds like this is going to be stupid, but factories will make you exactly what you send them. So if this changes that, they don't care. It's another round.
Yeah,
like you have to be there. It's your fault. They'll send you exactly what you send them.
Yeah, because it can't, like, if they make an adjustment to it, they could be held responsible for screwing something up. So they won't. They'll just deliver you precisely what you asked for. And if you're not extremely specific, they will just get you whatever. And then you get it, and then you're like, you couldn't ask me about this. It's like,
no,
we didn't have time.
It's
They're
a line.
Like, we have all these other guys press on us. We got it done for you. So you're welcome. It's like, fuck, dude, what am I supposed to do with this?
It's so crazy. So were you kind of stressing? Did you guys have pre-orders already?
Yeah, we had pre-orders. Super stressful.
So were people hitting you up like, hey, what's up with the orders?
Every once in a while. And like, I'm basically managing everything myself, and then with a little help from Jorge, and just like having all these emails come through. And I don't know, I'm not the biggest customer service person. And I didn't know, with like our timelines, there was always delays. So we would get these delays, I would update everybody, and then it would just be like, then it would come that time whenever it was supposed to be delivered, and it's like, well, we're pushed back again. Like, COVID was a nightmare. Like, our initial factory went out of business because, like, basically in Mexico, the way it works is if you're working at a factory, if you're sick or if you can't work, you're still paid anyways. Yep. So a lot of factories went out of business because they had to pay everybody through COVID. So they were out left and right. So then we had to fly back, get new manufacturers, and
oh my God,
it was a whole ordeal. And I think we finally got everything delivered.
That was a sample or your actual full?
We started getting like small samples that were not right, like towards the end of 2020. Like, because I think they couldn't even work until like July of 2020, and then it was just slow, and then they couldn't like get the stuff they needed from the other manufacturers because they had lines of their big customers.
Well, all the ships are at sea stuck too, so it's been a shit show, and people might be like,
that was a good reason why we chose Mexico, and we got lucky for it, is that it wasn't China. Yeah, then it would have been even worse.
Yeah. Oh, is there any product coming from China to Mexico?
Some materials.
Yeah, so you probably got stuff.
Because we like everything on this product. I haven't even shown it yet, but they're just slides, and
it's a bad dude. The boxing alone, the box is so fire. The packaging is insane. It's quality for sure. I love it. I love it.
But it just makes the tennis ball stretch easier. It comes with 3 different size inserts because everybody has a different height arch. So there's a low one, a medium one, and a high one. And this insert is soft. You know, it kind of mimics the pressure of a tennis ball, but a little bit stiffer. And all you do is it has a flat insert, so you can wear them like regular sandals. And you just pop that out. You pop this ball in, and the concept, all you have to do is walk around the house for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and it hits a particular spot in your foot where a lot of tension is stored right next to your heel. And whenever you loosen that up, it has an effect of, like, it increases blood flow, like, you know, better circulation in your foot, better flexibility right there, and that relieves tension on everything that's connected to the bottom of your foot. So people don't really realize that, but it's all connected. You get if you got tension right here, it's going to pull the top side of your foot, which is where a lot of people get foot ankle sprains, is right, like if this is your foot and this is your ankle, it's kind of like right here. So whenever you loosen up right here, it relieves tension there, and it just increases the range of motion. So if your foot is normally only able to flex to there, if you actually loosen up the bottom, you might just get a little bit more, but that little bit more is like our entire world.
Yes.
Like, because when we hurt that, it takes our world away. So anything that you can do helps.
And if you're flat foot too, that helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially like, yeah, that's why it has this one in particular is for people with flat feet. And even if you don't have a flat foot, we always recommend to start with the lowest one. Take it easy because feet can be sensitive. A lot of guys are like, no, I'm going to go straight to the highest one.
No.
And I'm like, oh, settle down, champ. Like,
yeah.
I know how you feel, but like, take it easy because
it's a process.
Yeah,
you got to crawl before you walk. Dude, I've been using this small one. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But even looking at this, I was like, bro, the production on this for like the samples is like a nightmare because there's so many pieces and it's the way it has to feel,
that's
correct. It's crazy, bro.
I had to custom formulate these materials, and that took a while on its own too, just to get it to have the right softness.
Did you want to use the material from a tennis ball? Was that ever a thought?
We just had to use materials that worked with their molds. So whenever it started getting into material development, it was just like, okay, well, show us what you got. And they just pressed a bunch of different materials into the molds, and we just, didn't like any of them.
Yep.
Got another round of that. Like, it took a few rounds of them giving us different materials from different manufacturers, like having to wait on that and just really hating them. And then until finally we found something that was kind of right, like had the right texture, like a little softness, and then found that, and then we had to go with that factory that developed that material and make adjustments to what they were doing. Or like, well, we want it to have like this texture a little bit more, but you got to bring down the softness. And then that was a whole ordeal in its own because our first production, like, there was a problem with how long the material lasted because they skipped a step.
Yep.
Like, they were supposed to test the material for like 30,000 flexions.
Yep.
And they didn't do that for us. Like, that, they were supposed to do that, but because we didn't really know about that, they delivered us the material without that. So the shoe was great, but it wore out a lot quicker than it was supposed to. And then we were like, why is this happening? Gave it back to the factory, and they're like, oh, well, we didn't really do the flexion test on that material, so now we'll reformulate it again. I was like, well, thank you, man. Like, our shoe is not supposed to wear out. We wanted to make a one-time buy, or like, and then now we got people, and we're gonna replace their product. Like, I never cared. Like, it doesn't matter how many days to me. It's like, dude, that it's not supposed to do that. It comes out of our pocket. So
these are supposed to last. Each ball is supposed to last a lifetime.
No, I mean, I wanted to make a shoe where it was like you could have it for years or whatever. And that is the current state of the shoe. It should last for a long time. It just depends how you wear out a shoe. But the ball, like, it's got a softness. It's a foam. It compresses with heat, and so it feels really rigid at first. But like, if you're just sitting down, like, your body heat is gonna warm it up. It'll get a little bit softer.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. People do reach out sometimes because they really like the rigid one. But some people really like it as it softens up. It's a good in-between for both. We don't sell it as a standalone accessory right now just because it's been so difficult producing them, but we did, like, it's been several rounds of production, and we have changed factories because some factories messed, like, last year was a nightmare. Like, there was a whole ordeal with some of them breaking because one of, like, it's complicated. Yeah, a little detail got missed, and then, all of a sudden we're just replacing a particular size. I think it was size 11, just had a bunch that were broken. And
did you have to get your own molds made for these as well?
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit.
40
oh,
molds.
my God. How many molds?
Bro.
40?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Dude, that's crazy.
And I had to redo them, too. Like,
oh, no.
Before we figured out the exact cause of the material breaking, like, it was a very, like, jagged design, which we might go back to, but we didn't know if it was the jagged design. And then so we paid for all the molds to get redesigned, softened it up a little bit, And then the factory came back to us and they're like, well, actually, we think it was the material and we'll fix it.
Oh,
I
no.
was like, you mean so we didn't have to do all that work too?
Jeez.
But,
well, at least you own your mold at your bottom.
yeah.
Now you can build a shoe around it.
Yeah. I mean, no, we're stoked, you know. It's
No,
just
yeah.
It's
So is this your...
hard parts of starting something that nobody else has
Yes. These are ready to go. Or can you
Yeah.
order these right now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is our latest production. And, you know, each production we learn about any little particular details, like causing somebody to be unhappy, like just small things, and we fix it. And, like, that's kind of the way we operate the brand is if you have a complaint, like, just let us know. Like, I'm not really...
And
I'm not really concerned about our profit margin.
Yeah,
so
you want to
much
get it
as
out
the
there.
People being
Stoked.
really stoked.
Yeah.
So
I love how you did how you could rock it as just a sandal too.
Oh, yeah.
That's so fire because they look so good. They look
Thanks,
super modern, super good.
Thank you,
They
man.
look so damn good.
Yeah, the idea is like if you know you gotta make some breakfast in the morning and you see them sitting on the floor, the green ball stands out and reminds you like, oh yeah, maybe you're gonna go skate or run or bike or whatever today. So slide them on for a little bit.
Go run, any action, any sport. This is for anybody. You don't have to just walking.
Yeah.
Where did the name come about?
It's actually a joke that stuck because the shoe looks like an avocado cut in half,
Yeah.
like with the seed sticking out, and that's just what stuck. Like didn't know what to name it. That was a hard part, and yeah, that's why they're called avos. I'm stoked on this part. Like this was in the works. Like I had this done for like a couple years ago, and it just took a while until we could actually get like all.
You did all the artwork here?
Yeah, pretty much.
You killed it.
Thank
So
you.
is this the first official run from the van to it being in production? This is it right here.
No, this is our third run. And so right now, we had a little kinks. Like a lot of people still have the first run of shoes and love them, no problem. Because if you wear it how we intended, which is just, it's kind of like a foam roller, you know, like for your feet. Like use it in your house when you make breakfast, slide them on, or whenever you get home from a long day, slide them on, and they provide a lot of relief. Like whenever you take them, it's like a feel-good pain, but whenever you take them off, that's whenever you can kind of feel the blood flow in your foot, and you like if your foot is like pretty tense, it will be a little painful to walk on them, but whenever you take them off, it'll feel good. And
Hurts so good.
That's the whole point.
I my feet are bad, dude. So I love wearing them. They help a lot, and it's just like they hurt. But then I'm like again, like you said, when you take them off, you're like whoa,
Yeah.
actually feels really good. And
I'm happy to hear that.
no, it's good. It's dope.
And then
I
that's
love it.
what, like our customers, like testimonials of people like with all kinds of foot issues. So for me, like 6 years since I had a foot or ankle injury, and I'm still like filming street skating a lot. Like I have a part coming out in just a few days on Thrasher. Have a full interview in the newest issue of Thrasher, actually right here. Like
Damn, you in this one?
Yeah, like a 10-page interview.
Oh shit. And this is all from your video part?
And the video part to match comes out, this week. So
Crazy.
just running it all at the same time. But dude, I've like just from having this shoe, like the prototype and everything, it's kept my feet safe. I've been able to skate like a lot more if I didn't have it. And the craziest thing is that I've still rolled my ankles a lot. Like I even thought I tore 2 little ligaments in my foot at like the Dime Glory Challenge. I could barely walk away, but like literally limping, someone has helped me walk. I went to where I was staying and I threw these shoes on for like 15 minutes. When I took them off, my limp was gone.
Wild.
And that I talked to a doctor about it, and he was just like, yeah, it's so important to stretch out the bottom of your foot if you have a foot injury, because it will relieve pressure off of that spot that hurts. So, you know, I would have never known if it would have swelled up the next day, but I do know that it felt just like every other sprain I ever had, and I was already planning my flight home and shocked whenever I took the shoe off and my limp was gone. Like, it was raining the next day, but I skated for another week out there, like, completely forgot that I felt like I had sprained my ankle that day.
Dude, that is amazing. These are, I'm super proud of you, bro. Like, I remember you.
Thank you, man.
I remember Clive talking about it during COVID times, and I was like, oh shit, that's so dope. And I checked it out and seeing what it's becoming, and I cannot wait to see this at all orthopedic spots. Doctors recommending it. I hope insurance can get, like, this thing could blow up so massive for you, and I really hope it does.
The crazy thing, like, we got the New Jersey Devils, like, team doctor, like, hockey team, reached out asking for their players. We get agencies from Major League Baseball telling us that some of their players have them, and like they want to see, like they want to chat to NFL, UFC, boxing, tennis. Like literally every sport is emailing me about these.
Yeah.
And we're just small, so like I can't even, and it's just me. We don't have any employees. We do have some freelance guys that I can't thank enough for being down. But yeah, it's just, you know, we're getting there, but it's kind of crazy to have, like, even, you know, the Red Bull sports scientist loves them.
Yeah.
And he's told me about some other really big companies, like, looking at what we made, and it's just like, man, it's kind of crazy.
So what's the goal? What's the next goal for this, for you, to get it in everyone's hands? And
well, right now, I'm in, like, my past month or two is like capital raise, because we're like, you know, we're a legit startup, and then I'm finding partners with some big investments, because we've just done it, friends and family, like homies, like Clive pitching in some cash, and really, like, there've been small amounts of cash, you know, like good chunks of cash, but for a startup, we've done it really frugally.
But also in an industry like this, people might say like $100,000 is a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but in this particular thing, it doesn't get you much.
And we haven't even, like, we've done it very frugally, like, haven't spent that much money. Like, other companies, it would take millions to get to where we are, and it's much less than that. But we're at the point where we need, like, a large, significant investment to be able to make a couple hires, but that's not even what we use the investment for. It's just for marketing and paying for the product, because we have retailers reaching out, big ones, and we can't support retail just yet, because that's a whole shit show in itself. So
and it's a marketing thing, because nobody's ever seen it. So it's like a new product. Yeah, it's explaining it. Yeah, educational.
But it is a product that, like, you know, I have some brokers that reach out for retail, and they're like, you know, when people see it on the shelf, they instantly know what that is. Like runners and, you know, a bunch of people, all they have to do is see it, and they know what it is. So that is, like, kind of the easy side. But there was no other shoe company really doing something therapeutic like this. Like, there's, you know, Adidas made those, like, acupressure point shoes.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. Those are great, but those shoes don't really do much for you. But I wanted to do something that, like, really targeted the cause of foot pain instead of being more like a Band-Aid. So, like, there's all these recovery sandals that are big, cushy soles, or like running shoes that are super soft and comfy. But, like, since I've nerded out on this side of the world, like, with the doctors and what they think about, like, those types of shoes just make your foot pain even worse, because all of a sudden you're training yourself to walk on something super soft, and so you're activating certain muscles even less, and it just leads people to more foot pain in the future. Whereas this shoe, it's a feel good, you're actually doing work for yourself and increasing your flexibility, which has a significant effect on your whole body, like, not just your foot, like back pain. Like, if you go to a physical therapist and you got something wrong with your shoulder, like, one of the first things he's going to check is your foot. Because if one of your feet are tighter than the other, like, let's say you weren't a skateboarder or anything, but you just a regular person, you rolled your ankle, never had PT, and you actually limped on that for 2 months, you trained yourself to walk a little differently on that foot, and that doesn't exactly, it might not necessarily go away. So you're walking a little weird on that foot, so are your muscles, and it goes all the way up to your back, and you're stuck like that. 10 years later, you're like, you don't know what's wrong with your back, like, you're not, like, that active. But
and feet are super important. Super important. Like I said, me being flat foot causes a lot of issues, I believe, and I wore those, and it, like I said, again, It made the blood flow. It made me feel good. It had like kind of like not a cold plunge feeling, but like a release feeling.
Yeah.
So it felt great. I love it, and you're the perfect example, and I think you're in the perfect industry for people to have testaments about it.
Thank you, bro.
And yeah, dude. So if somebody wanted to get a pair of these, what do they have to do?
Visit avostherapy.com, and they're available for purchase for like $80.
And you ship worldwide?
We do. International shipping is like $35. We actually pay more than that, but that's
Just getting it out there.
that's what we sell it for. I think usually we have shipping included, which is also difficult for us, but we do it. But yeah, like it's really about like current. I don't even pay myself for this brand. Like I do all the work, and it does help me every once in a while. Like I might not make enough funds from something else that I will get like kind of like a little reimbursement back for some of the money I put in, but I don't really even, my whole point is for the success of the brand. Like just like skateboarding, I'm willing to suffer it to see it through.
But you also want to help people too, because
For sure,
it's
that's
a thing.
the biggest thing. Like when people give us reviews and my friends wearing them or mentioned to me that they haven't had a foot injury in the past couple of years, I'm like, that's why I made them, bro.
And that's amazing. You're doing it for more. It's not just money. It's actually helping people, and I think that's a good cause.
And then personally, I've never even sold a pair. The business has sold some, but I've been given so much product from skateboarding that like I don't want to take money. Like, please take this. Like,
yes,
that's my gift back.
Yes, I love it, dude. Has you been in the industry where there are Nike, New Balance, Converse? Do those higher ups ever come at you and ask about how they can get involved in this?
Yeah, a bit. Like, so I have some meetings scheduled with some big departments that I'm stoked on for sure. But
would you sell the idea? I'm sure people might want to buy the idea.
It's a startup, so like if the right company came along and wanted to push it in the way that we respect, like we would certainly consider it. That's kind of the point of having friends put in money is like I want to return them a larger amount of money, and so that's like that's stress on my shoulders that I got to see through. So everything I do is kind of like I've got that in the back of my head. It's like how do I make my friends like happy in the long run with this? That's the whole point of it. From what I've learned is a lot of startups, you can get like the startup team can usually get it from the ground to a certain point, and then other companies with giant networks of retail and everything, they'll come in and fund a startup or buy a startup because they know they already have the machine built to take it further. So that is pretty much the point of it.
It's dope that you own the whole thing. That's huge.
Well, we have investors and partners.
Yeah, but it's cool that you own the actual design. Like that's huge to patent, and that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think I just kind of really want to talk about. Like I like having these conversations with people. I kind of want to have the skateboard conversation for people watching that don't know you. Kind of feel like the background story, and it worked perfectly on how this came about, because I just wanted to foreshadow a story.
Same, like whenever you showed me your brand and like I saw your energy and how much you put, like I'm an ingredient nerd, so I saw the ingredients you chose in here. I'm like, dude, you know what you're doing. Like you're making something that's actually helpful for people. And like people are afraid to spend a couple dollars more on something else, but like they say, health is wealth. It's worth it. Like, put the right things in your body, not the worst of the worst. Like if you want a happy life in the long run, you got to invest in your life too. So I fully back it, and I'm stoked to drink these things. If I see them at a store, I'm definitely buying them because I know where that intention came from. It came from the heart.
And it's like you said, obviously I want to provide for my family with it, but that's not the main thing. And my main thing isn't to get millions of dollars. I want to put out a healthy product so I want to feel good, like we did a good service for the world in helping people. And if it happens to pay the bills, that's fucking amazing. Obviously I don't want to lose money, but again, I really back healthy, good living products.
You put in the work, you deserve to be able to provide for your family. That's how it works. Like people go out there on a limb, they put everything, they sacrifice their time, they sacrifice their life, and everything's on the line. Like, it's never really about money. Like that's kind of what a lot of people have in their head, that it's all about money, but really it's just about having a good, helpful life that helps other people and being rewarded in likeness, because that's where you put your energy.
Yeah. And again, man, I'm having so much fun with it.
Yeah.
I'm having so much fun.
No, dude, you got me motivated.
So
talking to you about it, like
it's such a crazy industry, because we go from the action sports industry to like, and you're probably gonna experience too, super suit, going to meetings, everyone's all suited up.
Yeah.
Everyone's very formal, and they're like, dude, who the fuck is this person? And that's cool, because it's always good to bring a different type of character to it, but it's just completely different. And I love it, and I'm having so much fun with it.
I felt like such a nerd whenever I got really into healthy shit, like eating healthy, like making sure I got protein for whenever I destroyed myself skating, and then trying to share that with my homies at skate because I love them, but they didn't want to hear anything about it.
Nah, they want a bag and they want a beer.
Yeah, but late, like that was like 10 years ago or more, and I just felt like a little isolated for just like caring about that. But nowadays, like it's just, that's what people really care about, and I'm shocked to go meet up with a skater and they bring up something about health, and I'm like, dude, I'm stoked. Like everybody's minds are getting a little bit better than just being fed what they're fed from TV or whatever, you know, like just the brands and everything that's brainwashed into our culture. And
yeah, and well, it's longevity too in skating, biking, football, whatever. It's longevity. So why wouldn't you want to take care of your body?
Yeah,
if it's your job too, you definitely want to be on point. Yeah, your passion. You want to be in the best shape possible, because rolling your ankle, okay, if you're not wearing these and you go roll your ankle, now you can't walk for a few months. Yeah. But if you take the precautions of investing $80 into yourself, you invest spending $4 into yourself, it's legit helping the cause in the future or in the now. And it's a good cause. Yeah. You're supporting people that actually have a good cause.
There's like in an energy drink, there's so much garbage. Like they taste good. You get some energy, but you're literally putting like straight up toxins in your body and forcing your body to deal with it because it was a couple $dollars cheaper.
And this is natural energy. This comes from tea leaves. So it's 50 milligrams of caffeine. It's great, man. And yeah, dude, we definitely got to do something.
I love like that's how you know, like you got dope art. Like a sick ass name, Caffeine. Like it's fire. And then you look at the back and it's just, it blows you away because it's like
all natural, organic, baby.
There's nothing scary about anything on the back of this,
dude.
And that's like, you don't find that on the shelf.
I appreciate it, man. And
you know,
yeah, dude. I thank you for doing this. I hope people go out there and buy these, and just even if they can't buy them, go support you, go follow your Instagram, go sign up for the email list, go check the website, whatever it is. I have a pair.
If it's not amazing for yourself, you got a homie that complains about foot pain, or a grandpa. Like we got grandpas wearing these. We got 16-year-olds wearing these, and they help. And you know, it's just, it's like
all for it, dude.
Make life better.
What are the goals in 2025 that you have?
Oh man. There's a lot. I mean, I just have a lot of work to do with the business, like growing it, pushing it further. And then with skating, like I just finished a VX part. I'm stoked on it, about to come out. I just want to continue. I want to film a new HD part. Like I want to be able to get time to go get the clips I want. Like I'm honestly like myself, all I want to do is skate. So but I do all I want to do is make sure this thing prospers. So it's a mix of both.
Cool. That's it. I think that should be it. Where can people find you?
Oh, I forgot to show that.
Oh, wait. No, speaking of, can we talk about No, we can't
talk about it. But
no, not this thing, but this thing being on something.
Nope.
Okay. Well, there's something cool. You guys can.
But there's a little sneak peek of the hair mitt. My hair mitt. Gotta stay safe.
That is insane. Is that your hair?
No, it's a wig.
No, I know, but is that a wig of your hair?
Not my actual hair, just
what the hell?
Dude, I can't talk about why, but I had to do something where I had to wear a helmet and
this is for sure you're a stunt double, or it's a commercial that you're doing. This Hollywood, baby. That's what I'm assuming.
Well, no, it's just I was supposed to wear a helmet for this TV thing, and
Yeah.
I was like, fuck that. Like, and then me and my partner Jorge, he's the shit. We were just joking
Oh,
about
this
how
is
to make
for
it
the
better.
thing. It all aligns. It all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bro. Yeah, where can people find you?
On Instagram, my username is just Hale. It's just @Hale. And then, yeah, there's avostherapy.com. And there's some skate videos you can find if you look up my name. And, yeah, I don't know.
Cool. Hopefully we'll do this again next
Find
year.
me at Stoner, skate park
Yeah,
a little
Stoner
block
Skate
away,
Park.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll do this podcast. We'll do this interview or whatever this is in a year, and hopefully you're both in whole different positive areas of our lives.
Yeah,
So-
hopefully people find out the reason for this little object being on here that
That'd be cool.
can't talk about.
All right, bro. And go buy skateboards. You guys got decks.
Oh, yeah.
The art is
We
fire.
got Birdhouse
Birdhouse skateboards. He has decks.
I helped design this one in the center with my homie. Been here.
Those are sick.
Got some other ones I helped design. Honestly, I do too much.
No, I love it. I love it. It's everywhere. Man of all trades. Let's get it, baby. All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Hey.
Go check out your Thrasher part too. That'd
Yeah.
be crazy. Yes, sir.
Hey,
Yes,
yo.
sir.